This podcast is brought to you by the Dunfield Retirement Residence, a casually elegant retirement community located at Yonge and Eglinton in the heart of Midtown Toronto. Customized living options complement your independent, active lifestyle. Learn more at thedunfield.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're the Menschwarmers. I'm Jamie. I'm here with my friend Gabe. Gabe, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. It's lovely to be back. I am a little laryngeal tonight. We are a phlegm-focused people, but tonight mine is particularly bad.
Yeah.
But otherwise, doing well. Just
somehow I am just like dodging children's viruses like Neo in the Matrix, man. Just like, you know, I one has this stomach ailment or this cough or whatever, and I am just staying above it all, just like running on good vibes and Diet Coke and just like staying healthy despite the season and not having gotten my flu shot yet.
I do,
which I should do.
I do a lot of my life on good vibes and Diet Coke, but generally speaking, this week the itis has caught up with me, so my voice is a little more husky than usual.
The bell is tolling for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's vacation, Gabe. I could finally lead my Yiddish metal, my Yidcore band that I've always been thinking about doing. But we are not here to talk about my mucus. We are here to talk about
we have
Jews and sports.
We're here to talk about Jews and sports. We have a very nice episode coming up. We have an interview that will play at the second half of the episode with Lior Berman.
Is he our first active D1 athlete we've had on the show?
Oh, good question. We've certainly had people who have been...
Yeah, we've had the active
D1
pros.
Athletes.
We've had
active pros or former D1 athletes of various kinds, like Ethan Zahn, like he played Division I soccer, I think, and certainly the football players and the baseball players we've talked to, a number of them, like Ryan Lavarnoy, played D1. You know, it counts.
Lots of Yaleys, but
even though it's the Ivy League, it counts.
Zach Hyman,
but yeah, we were joined by Lior Berman of the Auburn men's basketball team, 6'4" guard from Birmingham, Alabama. Lior Berman. It was great to chat with him.
I didn't get to ask him, but they're not the Bermans of Birmingham.
That I thought that would get more of a rise from him, but I'm going to guess that he's had that joke his whole life. Yeah. He is from Birmingham. His last name is Berman, and there's many of them apparently.
I learned today there was a Jewish day school in Birmingham, and he went there.
Yeah, that's true. That's well. Let's save that for the interview. We'll get to that soon. Nice to chat with Lior about his time at Auburn. And his very effusively and vocal Jewish coach, Bruce Pearl, as well.
Yes.
But before we get to that, let's talk about some Jewish sports goings on the last few weeks. Some pretty big Jewish news out of Christy Pitts, and not just the solidarity rally that I was happy to attend this past weekend, but the local semi-pro. Is it semi-pro?
I think it's semi-pro. Our local wood bat top tier baseball league, the Inter-County Baseball League.
Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs, not to be confused with, I think there's a hockey team that also has the same name. But the baseball team, the Maple Leafs, was bought by Rob Godfrey, whose name might sound familiar. He is the son of Paul Godfrey, former president of the Blue Jays. Him and Keith Stein were named as the new owners. I don't know much about Mr. Stein. I'm going to assume he is also a member of the tribe. But they're taking over the team and promised to keep it in Christy Pitts, which I think has some significance as a Jewish area, a Jewish place, given the riots and other associations with the area. They talked about that at the Solidarity Rally, that it was on the 90th anniversary plus a few months.
Absolutely,
that it was taking place.
It seems just doing a little backup on Keith Stein. He did go to Osgoode Hall. That's one thing, but
he went to a law school. That's a pretty Jewish thing to do.
Yeah, he's gone to a lot of places. He did seemingly have some business partnership at some point with Gene Simmons.
All right, there you go.
Which would imply that he is Jewish.
Sure.
That said, it's like pretty exciting to see one way or another that this team is got some new ownership and fresh ownership. Yeah. They've been traditionally like sort of a part of the Italian Toronto community, being part of Christy Pitts and
the Domenico family were the owners before, and it's it's always been a sort of pretty mixed area. I guess there's more traditionally a Jewish neighborhood south of there in the market, in Kensington Market and the Ward, but there's always been plenty of Jews in the Annex and Seton Village, and Italians and Portuguese people in the area. But it's great that they're keeping the team, and they're keeping the team at Christie Pitts. I think they've committed to that. It's a great experience. It's pure and unadulterated baseball. It's free. You get to sit in the park. It's a great way to spend a summer day. So
it's nice a wonderful Sunday. As soon as my child stops napping, I think that's going to be like a standard Sunday thing.
So excited to see that Jewish investors will be involved in that and keeping the team there. So hopefully we can chat more about that in the future. Some other goings on in the Jewish sports world. Max Homa won the DP World Tour. Pretty exciting stuff.
In the South African tournament.
Yeah, the South African tournament. The Nedbank Golf Challenge. So it's not a PGA Tour event. I'm not exactly sure.
Great historical golfer, that Nedbank.
I'm not exactly sure how the DP World Tour works. Like, I would say, even as like a somewhat avid golf fan, like, I don't know all the details exactly, because somehow he won the tournament. Max won the tournament, but Rory won the tour.
Yes.
So I don't really like. I get that it's sort of like cumulative stuff, but it's sort of like an international FedEx Cup, but no one's really paying attention to it. Is that right?
I think that's probably sort of like it. Yes.
I think the best gig in golf is being a guy who's like the best golfer on the non PGA Tour, like a European guy who just lives in Europe, but like wins 4 events a year just because like they're very good. Like I feel like Victor Hovland's done that at times in his career.
Now that guy would be Nikolai Højgaard.
Right. But yeah, Homo was only the 5th American to win the tournament. Said it was very exciting to go to a new place and meet a lot of new people and play golf in a different place. But really great for him that he won that. It's a great start to what will be the 2024 season. It's a good.
It's
one
the
of
fall
these
swing or whatever. But now if you include this in his list of sort of career top tier wins, which I think we would.
Sure.
This now puts him 4 back of Corey Pavin. Is reaching for 11 Pavin. This is his 7th win, so that would put him
in the all-time Jewish golfer rankings.
In the all-time Jewish golf rankings, he is still 4 behind Pavin. I think Pavin actually won 14 tournaments, but as we've talked about this many before, 3 of them were post conversion. So we only consider Pavin's Jewish period that Max Homa is chasing.
Right. And, he has remained in the top 10 since he won the Genesis, or came in second, I think, at the Genesis last year. Maybe since he won the Farmers last year. He has just remained in the top 10. We were very optimistic going into 2023. It's not that he had a bad season by any accounts. He obviously won a tournament, and that's a winning season, I think, for anybody.
Especially at Torrey Pines.
And he won Fortinet, which I guess was still part of the 2022.
Yep.
They've changed the way it goes.
He had
a good Ryder Cup. He kept the Americans alive when he won on Sunday. He sort of clinched a win or a tie that kept them alive for a period of time. But I think we were all a little bit disappointed with his finish at most of the majors. He came in 10th. He tied for 10th at the Open Championship, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I don't think he had a top 10 at any of the majors last year. He was top 10 at the Players, and came in, very close to winning at the Phoenix before he had a bit of a downturn. So, it was a great season, but we didn't see him win or really compete on a Sunday for a major. And that's what we're looking for. That's what 2024 is going to bring. I feel it,
We're gonna get this Jewish major winner thing down.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen. But another couple of big weeks in the National Women's Soccer League. The Gotham City FC, which is generally managed by Yael Averbuck,
right?
Who is a Jewish American U.S. national team veteran. Gotham FC won the NWSL championship.
Wow!
So good for them. Congratulations to Yael. Lots of wins for Jews this week.
Yeah, we also wanted to highlight Daniel Blumen, who we should give a hat tip to CJN's Ellen Besner for turning us on to. Daniel Blumen won the Longinus FEI Jumping World Cup, which was held in Toronto. It's part of the Royal Horse Show. That's part of the winter, the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair. Did it used to have a different name? I feel like I think of it as something else. Anyways, the winter fair in Toronto. Daniel Blumen, who has ridden for both Colombia, his native country, and Israel internationally, and at the Olympics as well. He won the championship, so congratulations to him. I don't know what that means in terms of getting ready for France 2024. I would assume that he is attempting to qualify for Israel again.
Or yes, I would assume he was. If you're winning global events, assume you're one of the best ones.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's one of the bigger indoor horse events on the schedule, and very exciting. I don't know. He was riding his horse Gemma W. I don't know if she is Jewish or not. So we'll have to ask Daniel about that.
Yeah, we'll have to find out when we get him on the podcast. You wonder, could an animal with a cloven hoof be Jewish?
That is a good question. I think the answer has to be. I think the answer is yes, because the fact that something is not kosher to eat is not determinative of its Jewishness. Like, people are not kosher to eat, right? That's not discredited. So,
although is cannibalism specifically banned in the Talmud?
I'm sure somewhere I would think it is specifically banned if it's not already covered by all the prohibitions on murder and other prohibitions. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know that there are specifically Jewish pigs or other treif animals, but there might be some. There must be some.
So they do often say that human meat tastes the most like pork. In fact, it has been called long pork many places before, which would, hint that it is not kosher. So that might answer your question. So judging by that, that's enough from your logic. There can be Jewish horses.
Yeah. Well, this is quite the tangent that we've gone on. One of our more interesting ones. Anyways, congratulations to Daniel for winning that. And we'll have to check in on him and Gemma and see how they're doing as they ride up to the Olympics. Before we get to our interview with Lior, I just wanted to take a quick check-in. I guess we're about quarter season, almost through the hockey season. And wanted to just check in on the Hughes brothers, who have been having real exciting season. Unfortunately, Jack Hughes, who is leading the league in points, I think, when he got
Jack
injured.
Hughes was off to an unbelievable start, taking that momentum from the end of last year that he had, finishing with a 99-point season. And I think sort of at the time of his injury, he had over 20 points in fewer than 10 games. I believe that's where he was at.
But now he's hurt his right shoulder. And
yes.
I don't know if there's hockey diagnoses are always super cagey.
Yes.
Like, especially in the playoffs, where it's just like, he has an upper body injury. Like, because
he might play.
I think it's because you can actually target you could hit their shoulder if you know which shoulder it is and whatever. But I think they did say it was dislocation.
Yes,
which is good. I think it means he doesn't need surgery. He's not going to be out for an extended period of time, but he might be out for a few weeks.
The original prognosis was a month, but today they actually said they upgraded him to day-to-day.
Right, that's good.
So he might not be out for that long, but all of the slack sort of being left by his injury is more than being picked up by Vancouver captain Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, he's leading the league in assists and plus minus.
And
right
plus
now.
minus. For a defender to lead the league in plus minus is quite an impressive thing to do.
Unbelievable.
And he's sort of named the captain of the team this year, and they're one of the best teams in the league. So they're doing terrific.
I think if Jack comes back healthy and is able to come up, Luke is also having a pretty solid start to his season. Obviously younger. Yeah, obviously, younger, not expected to contribute to the Devils in the same way that Jack is. But if Jack can come back and rebound and, have a top 10 points year, like that, Quinn and Jack could both be theoretically top 10 in points, top 10 assists. Like, it could be, it could challenge any of the best brother seasons. The
Gretzky's
or Sittlers or Lemieux or Sedins or Stalls or anything like that.
My dad and I were talking about the three Hughes brothers the other day, and in a typical dad way, he said, there were 6 Sutters.
Yeah, exactly. We're there. The Hugheses are at a disadvantage. There's only 3 of them.
There's only 3 of them. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But Team USA will have a Jewish murderers row for the first time ever, really, come the 2024 Olympics.
2026, but yeah.
2026 Olympics, yes.
We don't know yet if NHL players are back. I think they haven't.
I don't think it's
yet.
Official, and there's rumors of another World Cup of hockey coming up soon.
Right, but one way or another, whether it's at a World Cup or at the 2026 Olympics, I think it's a pretty good shot that all three Hughes siblings, all three Hughes brothers, could be on the team, and
Absolutely. That,
even out there together on the same time on the ice at the same time, which would be pretty amazing to see.
that would be very, very cool. Jack and Luke already do play together a lot, so
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see Luke and Quinn playing together. It'd be extremely cool. All three brothers right there. So anyway, best of luck to recovering Jack.
Absolutely.
And hoping that he feels better soon.
Yeah. Why don't we go now to our interview with Lior Berman? We're very glad to be joined tonight by Lior Berman, guard for the Auburn Tigers, Auburn's men's basketball team.
The basketball Tigers.
The basketball Tigers. Lior, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much for joining us. You are, I take it, you're in Auburn right now in the training room or the athletic facility for the basketball team?
Yeah, I'm actually in our locker room right now.
I know the season just started. You guys won the other day. You got another big game coming up this week against Notre Dame. Has preparation going for that? Everyone excited?
Yeah, it's going great. We get to leave for New York tomorrow. We're going down a little early, so we'll be able to practice up there, and preparation's going good right now. We'll probably have a hard practice tomorrow morning, and then we'll fly there.
Right. Oh, that's exciting. So Lior, you grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Were you the only Bermans in Birmingham?
No, so I actually had a lot of cousins.
A lot of cousins.
I think a lot of people, you're breaking stereotypes here, because a lot of people don't think Alabama and Jewish in the same sentence. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What was it like? What's the Jewish community like in Birmingham?
Yeah, so I grew up and thinking till fifth grade going to a Jewish day school. So I got to experience that as a child, which I'm very thankful for, and just going to temple on Saturdays, and I thought there was a great Jewish community in Birmingham.
That's great.
It was good for me.
And we should say, I was gonna say the only thing I think about is Alabama Jews is the movie Driving Miss Daisy. I think was about Alabama Jews, and I think your coach, I think Bruce Pearl, very outspoken Jewish coach of Auburn, is probably one of the more noteworthy. I guess I don't know if he would consider himself an Alabaman, but he's certainly been there for a while now. He can take on that mantle, I think, proudly. And aside from that, I don't know that there's so many other Alabama Jews I think of in my head.
Definitely not many in Auburn, but there's a small community of us here, which is nice to have.
Well, Auburn's I know it's a smaller school by I don't know by American standards, but I assume there's like a Hillel house and a Jewish presence on campus. Why did you decide to play at Auburn? Was playing for Coach Pearl part of that decision?
Yeah, so I always wanted to play basketball out of high school, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to go for a long time. I was looking at some smaller schools, and I always loved Auburn and Coach Pearl and how his playing style. And I drove down here with my family and had a meeting with Coach Pearl. It was really nice. I didn't really know what to expect, but he sat down with us for like an hour and a half, and we just talked, about basketball, other things, and it just felt right. And when I left, I was like, that's where I want to go.
Right. And you started at Auburn as a walk-on, but I saw the article, of course, that you got a scholarship at the beginning of this year. What was involved with that, or how did that feel, getting that sort of honor?
It felt great. I remember with that meeting that I was just talking about, Coach Pearl said, he rewards, hard work, and like if you can play, you can play, and he just always preached me, staying right and ready. So that's what I really try to do all throughout these years, and just to have the scholarship now, and just to know that things paid off, it's a really good feeling.
What are you working towards academically? I was just going to ask, because I know this is your fifth year with the team. Are you a graduate? Are you a graduate student now, or are you working on your undergraduate degree?
So I graduated from industrial design last year, and
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a tough 4 years, but I'm glad I got through it. It was I loved every second of it. But now I'm just I'm not pursuing a master's or anything. I'm just taking a few classes, finance classes, golf class, which is really nice.
Well, what's golf class? Tell us about golf class.
Yeah, it's 2 times a week at the range, or you just get to hit some golf balls. And
Wow.
I'm just trying to get a little better at golf. I feel like that's an important skill to have. But
Yeah.
It seems like there's some perks to being a Division I athlete. And Alabama has some amazing golf courses too. We've talked for years about going down to play some of them.
yeah,
So that's wonderful. I'm trying at golf class.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
That's great.
it's nice. It's a nice change of pace from the last 4 years. I just had all school, basketball at the same time. Now I can focus a little more on basketball, and because that's what I want to do.
So tell us a little bit about Coach Pearl. You are the only Jewish player on the team. He is I would say, very outspoken and proud Jewish man. Do you guys ever talk about your faith?
Definitely. That's something that's really cool, to have that, relationship outside of basketball. Coach Pro will have me over for like a holiday,
Oh, that's great.
He also throws this Hanukkah party.
Oh yeah.
Students will come there to his house, and he makes some latkes, which is this is so cool. And
Yeah.
That's great.
but yeah, he's always talked to me, about being proud of your religion and outspoken. And I look at that, and I like to do that myself too. So I think it's just cool.
Right. Last year, you guys, your team traveled to Israel for. I think you played. Did you play a few games? You were there, just one.
So I actually was there for the Maccabi games before,
Right.
and I actually sadly I got hurt in like that last game. So when Auburn came, I didn't get to play, but I still got to experience everything, which is awesome.
Yeah. What was that trip like as a team? Was it? I mean, I know for you and Coach Pearl, it has different meaning as Jewish players on the team, but I assume that there are probably some players on your team who are religious, somewhat
Yeah,
religious Christians
yeah,
as well. I'd imagine it has some significance
yeah. It
for
was
them
really
as well.
cool. A lot of them got baptized over there, so
Oh,
that
cool.
was cool to see. That
Yeah.
their
Up
standpoint.
in the Sea of Galilee.
Yeah, it was that was a cool thing to see, and just like they didn't really know what to expect at all coming to Israel, because I was the only
Right.
person who had been. So I was like trying to tell them about it, and they're like, I don't know. I was like, just trust me, like.
Yeah.
And then they got there, they're like they loved it. Some of them just really enjoyed it and still talk about it to this day. So that was super cool getting to see them see it for the first time.
What was your Maccabi Games experience like?
It was awesome. We got the gold against France, but it was just really cool. I had done it back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I played in the Maccabi games, which was awesome too. But now this last one, being older and everything, it was just this awesome experience. I had some amazing teammates. I played for Coach Gottlieb. Really enjoyed that, and it was great. It was a great time.
That's great. So this is going to be your last year at Auburn. Obviously, eligibility requirements and finishing up school and all that. What's next year? Are you planning on pursuing a career playing basketball professionally? Are you going to work as an industrial designer or something?
How about
professional golfer? If the classes work
designing
out well.
basketball arenas? I think designing basketball courts, basketball arenas would fit with the degree in basketball and industrial design.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, my dreams are to play pro basketball, but I'm as an industrial design thinker. I'm always thinking of ideas and everything, and so that'll just maybe come if I'm just deal pop in my head. I'll be like, all right, I can pursue this. But as of right now, I really like to play in Israel professionally. That's been a goal of mine for a long time, and I've kind of over the last few years, set that that's what I want to do. So yeah, I've just really taken this year to, I'm not taking that many classes. So it's kind of like I can treat it like I'm being a pro right now, just focusing on basketball and getting better. And
Right.
yeah.
So is there,
That's great.
You don't have to, if you don't want to spoil anything now, but if you were to pick a city in Israel to live in, you have your choice of all the teams, all the cities, like where'd you like to live there the most, basketball aside?
Well, Tel Aviv's always super fun,
It's
and
sick.
that's pretty hard to beat, especially for like the first few years. Like I think that would be really cool,
Right.
because nice beaches and just a fun place to be.
I want to go back a little bit more back to your life at Auburn now, as a notable Jewish player, other than people like us, do you get noticed for being Jewish?
Every once in a while, like someone will reach out to me on like social media or Instagrams, like way to represent. And
Yeah.
I always think that's so cool.
Right.
And awesome. But yeah, every once in a while, someone will reach out to me or like send me something and just be like, way to represent, which has always been super cool to me.
So then similarly, when you watch basketball, or golf or whatever sport, like, do you care when other athletes are Jewish?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's always cool to see, and I'll tell them way to represent.
Yeah. Is there anyone you follow particularly?
Uh, so some of my teammates, from my Maccabi teammates, actually, just watching them play,
Yeah.
Right.
colleges, that's always cool to see. It's like a little group of us who all play college, and hopefully we can all end up in the same place in Israel eventually.
That'd be like an American collegiate all-star team. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about Alabama Jews and athletes, and I realized that there aren't that many other Alabama Jewish athletes I can think of, but there are a fair amount of Jewish sports writers in Alabama. At least I know Matt Cohen for AL.com. He profiles Auburn, and I've always assumed Paul Feinbaum is Jewish, but I don't know if he is or not. I don't know if I've ever had confirmation about that.
Not sure.
You're not sure either. Yeah,
Yeah.
I it's funny because he's like the most prolific football radio guy in the state. And I think for people who don't follow college football or people not from the South, it's like they probably have no idea who he is. But if you're from Alabama, you've heard his voice probably, every week for for your entire life.
We'll have to figure it out. We're on the case. We'll get back to you, Lior. We'll find out.
Thank you. Let me know.
I know it's a small community. I have a friend who's from Jackson, Mississippi, who's Jewish, and he told me that like there's a lot of Jewish families in Mississippi, but they're all kind of aware of each other. Like, would it be surprising to you to meet a Jewish family in Alabama you didn't know about?
Yeah, and I'd say even more so in Auburn, because Hillel, I feel like I know most of everyone. But every once in a while, I'll just be talking to a student, and it just comes up, and they're like, "You're Jewish? You're yeah." I'd be like, "What? How do I not know you?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that happens every once in a while, but not very often, I would say.
I wanted to mention as well that this is the first guest we've had on a show who was recommended to us by their dad, who reached out to us. So shout out to your dad for reaching out to us. I think that was a real. He's got a lot of pride about your basketball career and everything you do. So shout out to him.
Thank you, Dad.
Do your parents ever push medical school on you?
No, I think they're they're with me on my basketball journey, which is cool. They're coming to all the games, which means so much, and having to make that drive every time. But yeah, they're extremely supportive, and I'm very thankful for that.
So how far is Birmingham to Auburn?
It's 2 hours, so it's
2 hours. Okay,
bad of a drive, which is nice. I can go home sometimes if we have an off weekend.
Right.
That's great.
Where's the game coming up against Notre Dame in New York? Where are you guys playing?
It's the Barclays.
Nice
arena.
Is your first time? It will be your first time playing there. Or have you been there before?
No, I've actually not. I've only been passing through New York. I've never actually been, so I'm
cool.
really looking forward to that.
Oh, that's great. This is a great opportunity. I mean, for you to connect with some Jewish Jewish cultural touchstones in New York. I mean, about all the food and all that.
Yeah,
that's you should really take advantage of that, because I think there will be parts of it that'll be like, maybe I've never had authentic pastrami or knish or something like that, but there will be something that tastes similar to something you've had, or flavors that have been, even though it's not exactly the same as whatever you get in New York. I mean, I'm sure you've had a bagel before, but it's not exactly the same as a real New York bagel.
That's funny you say that. I'm actually looking forward to that. Just the food I love to eat, and I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's gotta be some good places.
That's great. Well, we'll let you go, Lior. Get back to studying and training and getting prepared.
Go back to golf class.
Go back to go study for golf class. Study study your whole locations. And have a great time this week in New York. And good luck for you guys the rest of the season.
Thank you, and I appreciate y'all having me on here.
Well, thanks again to Lior for joining us, and thanks also to Lior's dad, Elon, for setting up, making the connection, reaching out to us.
This is great. It's lovely. It's lovely when we've got a multi-generational fandom. I want to do a quick shout out. Speaking of which, we got a letter earlier this week. We love getting letters in the Benchwarmers inbox, especially when it comes from fans. But we got a wonderful letter this week on the topic of Dave Schultz, the NHL player who has the all-time record in penalty minutes for a single season for the Philadelphia Flyers in the 1970s. Unfortunately, Dave Schultz is not Jewish.
Right.
But
I think we knew that by leading the league in penalty minutes.
Yes, I think
the only Jewish enforcer is Doug Glatt from the movie Goon, and that's a fictional character.
And as we talked about, Larry Zeidel.
Right, that's true.
I actually watched Goon 2 recently, and I took some notes to talk about on the podcast, and I'll get back to finishing the story of the email too. Just to finish it quickly, we wound up the writer and I, a lovely lawyer named Andrew. We discussed Larry Zeidel and his child's ambition to break Dave Schultz's record, a completely honorable and respectable goal, and I'm all for it.
That's great.
But great emails. I speaking of this, I watched Doug Glatt. I watched Goon 2 recently.
Okay. I've never seen Goon 2.
He's a Jewish character, and there are a lot of Jewish people in the movie. Sean William Scott is not Jewish, but his rival mentor, Ross Ray, who's a real East Coast Canadian, is played by Liev Schreiber, who is Jewish.
Right.
And is like a very good sort of tough guy Canadian in that as well. There's, Doug Glatt, him being Jewish is talked about a lot in the movie. He wears sort of a big Star of David, and there are two Ukrainian brothers on the team who just call him the Iron Jew throughout the whole movie. Like, it's this Iron Jew, man. That's
a pretty good nickname.
Yes. Doug the Thug Glatt.
Maybe someday we'll have a Goon to watch along podcast or something, some event around that. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, a live Goon and Goon 2.
Yeah. Anyways, if you like Lior's dad are listening to this podcast and say, hey, I am the father or cousin or aunt of a prominent Jewish athlete or sports person or anyone, feel free to reach out. It's always good to make connections. With people in the Jewish sports world.
Sorry, I do want to finish it. There was one other thing I wanted to specifically say, which is the other main character in the movie, in Goon 2, which I forgot to mention, playing a non-Jew, is Wyatt Russell, who is also Jewish.
That's right, because he's the son of Goldie Hawn.
Son of Goldie Hawn, and was a professional hockey player, too. So he was a Jewish athlete who then became a Jewish actor. Anyway.
Wow.
Finishing that. Anyways, Goon 2.
Thanks again to our producer, Michael Freeman, for producing us. As always, you can find our podcast on the Canadian Jewish News' website, thecjn.ca, and check for it in your inbox as well. And subscribe wherever you get your podcasts if you're using an app. If you're not on the CJN's website right now, using a podcast app, make sure you're liked and subscribed. And if you are using the CJN's website, if you listen to this from your inbox, get a podcast app. Get a child or nephew to download that for you on your phone and get it delivered directly to your device every time we publish, so you don't miss an episode of Benchwarmers.
We're also on Spotify. Maybe Spotify helps. That's easy.
We're on Spotify. I get alerts when our podcast comes out. I never listen to it personally because I do the podcast. It would be weird to it's weird to listen to my own voice.
Can you hear your own voice on recording? I'm very bad at it.
Am I self-conscious about it?
Yeah, like do you get I get the sort of like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh yeah. I would say it's not my preferred thing to do. I don't like listening to recordings myself. I used to do dictations a lot, and my least favorite part was like having to go back and listen to myself and do additions and stuff like that. So
did you have it? Was it like George Costanza with the risk management book on tape?
Exactly. I couldn't listen to myself talk about whatever memo I was dictating or whatever. Anyways, until next time, follow us on Twitter at Benchwarmers for Jewish sports news and Kevin Euclid retweets and things like that.
We are the good part of Twitter. We're the good left.
That's right. You can whatchamacallit, you can cultivate your feed and keep us on there, and we're bringing nothing but good stuff and Jewish athletes
vibes. We're all
speaking
vibes.
out against anti-Semitism and other good things. Good vibes and Diet Coke. Until next time, thanks again for joining us.
The Dunfield Retirement Residence offers customized living options to complement your independent, active lifestyle. Welcome home. Welcome to the Dunfield. Visit us at thedunfield.com to book a personal tour.